I finally took a look at all of my numbers, and it turns out that I made a grand total of, drumroll please, $139,047. That is insane. I was so inspired by Investing with Kim, which I will link a link to her channel. I wanted to share with you how I earned that money and how it actually broke down into my income, my expenses, and my savings. Before we get into all the money details, be sure to hit the like button. And if you enjoy learning more about my journey to financial independence and early retirement at 35, be sure to subscribe to my channel or to the podcast so we can talk more money, honey. So to preface this all, I just wanted to share with you that this has been such a journey to actually make $100,000. It did not just come out of the blue. I have been working for 8 years now. And if you want a actual timeline and history of my salary, feel free to check out my timeline salary video, which I will leave a link to. I also share my actual numbers in the hopes that we can be more transparent and break down the taboo and stigma of talking about money, and yeah, just become more open and show you like this is attainable if you work at it. It doesn't come easy, but if you work at it, you too can like earn this kind of money as a designer. To start, we have my income. The majority of that money came from my paycheck, and this is my 9-to-5 job. I work a 40-hour week in tech as a visual designer. I actually started in March of 2020, so this paycheck is reflecting that amount. If my contract extends throughout the year in 2021, I should be on track to make somewhere, I think, closer to the $120,000 range. And that is with $58 an hour pay. And that is like actually kind of like a medium low end. I think I actually might try and negotiate that, which we'll see. To make up for the difference of not working January and February, this year I freelanced. So, you know, that $19,560 I made freelancing. And to be honest, I kind of got burned out freelancing this year. I think the combination of, you know, doing a visual design job during the day and then like having to do visual design at night, you know, it just was not fun. So I'm not taking on any freelance design work in 2021, but for 2020, that definitely helped cover the difference in the months of January and February where I was not working. So my income should stay about the same for 2021. But all 120,000 will come from my 9-to-5 paycheck, hopefully. At least that's the plan. I say I'm never gonna take on another freelance client, and then sometimes, you know, just stuff pops up. It's really hard to say no to money when you're still trying to be financially independent, I'm gonna be honest. $3,000 and $3,063 came from resale. So that includes things like Poshmark, Facebook Marketplace, OfferUp, things like that, where I was selling my clothes or furniture secondhand. It takes actually a lot of effort to resell things and coordinate pickup times, etc. Go to the post office. I haven't really been putting a lot of effort into my resale businesses. But I will say it has been easiest during the pandemic to coordinate like Facebook Marketplace pickups because people can just drop by and, you know, obviously most of the time we're home. So I think 2021 will still be a really great year to keep reselling all of the stuff you don't use or need and make a quick buck. Dividends this year, I made $2,895 worth of dividends, and that is crazy. Like, to think that just my money has made me money in my sleep. I didn't do anything. All I did was invested. Most of my stocks are in a total US stock market fund, SWTSX. And yeah, the dividend payouts, especially like in December, woo, those are just through the roof. And I think in 2021, my Schwab account is projecting that I'm gonna make closer to $3,000. So that's like an additional $200-ish, probably a little more than that, because I'm going to be continuing to invest in SWTSX throughout the year. So rewards, I made $2,732, and rewards I think of as credit card cashback. So I have the Citi Double Cashback card, and that gives me 2% cashback on just regular spending, as well as Ebates I get like cashback, stuff like that. are just kind of in my rewards category. So you can see like those really add up. Like all those little $2,000 to $3,000 things I'm doing adds up to like 10,000. So, you know, just every little bit counts. And then I have gifts received. I'm very fortunate in that a lot of my aunts, uncles, family members give me financial gifts. And I think it's pretty common in the Asian culture, you know, instead of presents, you'll get like actual monetary gifts, which I think is really great and useful because you can put that towards, you know, things you actually care about or actually want versus, you know, presents. Sometimes physical gifts are not things you necessarily want, and it just ends up as clutter in your room. And so I'm really grateful that my family has the ability to give me that. And because of this, I am able to buy the gift that I want, which is time, eventually. This year I put in the income category government, and since like we had stimulus checks, that money goes in there, as well as my tax refund. So $2,166 I put as income. I don't really know if it's like considered income. Would you consider it income? Anyway, I'm considering it income, but that is government money. So again, the 2 stimulus checks that I received, I didn't get the full amount because I was kind of in the phase out period. And if they do come again for 2021, I will probably not get any stimulus checks due to my income level this year, which, you know, that is a totally fine. And then also my tax refund, which in 2021, I will owe taxes because for my freelance work, the $19,560, I have not paid taxes on that yet. So that is going to come out. I will definitely owe. So I started taking my Millennial Money Honey business more seriously this year. I opened an Etsy shop and was open to brand partnership opportunities. So I haven't really earned a lot from Millennial Money Honey. I'm hoping to earn more in 2021, but in 2020, I earned $340 there. For interest, which is why everybody should open a high yield savings account if you don't already have one, I earned $173 off of my high yield savings account. I use Ally. If you are still banking with Wells Fargo, Bank of America, switch it. You've got to go open a high yield savings account. If there's one takeaway from this video, you need to go open a high yield savings account to keep your emergency fund and savings in. Again, that's not a ton in the grand scheme of things, but it's definitely not nothing. So as you can see in my income kind of breakout chart, I am 75% is mostly from my paycheck and the other 25% is all the other little stuff. Again, every little bit counts. It really all adds up to be a whopping almost $140,000. On to my expenses. So expenses, I actually did not spend that much this year. Minus taxes, I spent close to $14,000, which is relatively nothing because I decided to move back in with my parents this year. It just made a ton of sense for me and obviously gets me closer to financial independence quicker. So because of that, my expenses were relatively low this year. And actually I was adding everything up and I like could not for the life of me figure out where like $20,000 of my money had gone. And I kept like thinking and looking and I was like, I didn't spend like $40,000. So where I spent $14,000. So I couldn't figure out where my money had gone. And then I realized, oh my God, it went to Uncle Sam. Like I realized like I had $26,000 in taxes that I was not accounting for in my like flow. I put it under expenses because it is like a price you pay for working. It's a fee of earning money. So it just is what it is. 65% of my expenses are taxes right now. That's $26,000. A house was like rent stuff. And I was still paying for housing and stuff from January through May. So that's kind of where my housing expenses were. So still relatively low, but definitely not nothing. Gifts that I gave, $1,700. Work, that includes like, since I did a lot of freelance design work, I pay for a subscription service to help me manage all of my clients and stuff called Hello Bonsai app. It sets up like payment, invoicing, contracts, you name it. Like it makes you look so much more professional if you're a freelance designer. Highly recommend. Work also includes like a desk, things like that like really I needed as a freelance digital designer. Food expenses, I categorize food under eating out. I have a separate category for groceries. Travel this year was still really low, but I did rent out a cabin for my 29th birthday, so that is included in travel. I also did a camping trip with friends because I was like outdoors and could be like socially distanced. So since I was freelancing in January and February and my insurance didn't kick in till April, I was paying for health insurance for like 4 months. So $878 falls under that category. Shopping, I actually spent a lot more money than I thought I was going to spend this year. I was actually planning on doing a no spend year, which I will share a link to how I've done that in the past. But this year I actually spent somewhere around $700. I bought a pair of hiking shoes, and just a ton of little things that kind of just added up. Pair of shoes, just like, I don't know, standard work from home stuff. You know what we all need. $700 I'm still really proud of, but yeah, definitely I saw that number. I was like, oh, didn't know that. But I guess that's, $700 for the year. I'm gonna give myself a pass at that. Car, this includes gas, maintenance, etc. $622. That has definitely dropped down a lot because we have been working from home. No need to drive everywhere. Utilities, $511. Groceries, $420. Entertainment, $242. I'm not really exactly sure what I counted as entertainment. Like, I have no idea. I need to go look at that. Drinks, $117. Guess I was going hard in January and February, living it up. And then transportation, $82, and that's like Ubers and stuff. Again, I'm so curious what I spent in the past. This is like the first year I've done a full year of tracking my expenses, so I really don't know how much I've spent on Ubers in the past, but telling you this year is definitely the least in like the last 5. So in total, I spent $41,128. If you take out taxes, I spent $14,606. So definitely a huge difference. If you consider everything else, I think you have to factor taxes as an expense just because shows you the full picture of where your money's going. So this is my savings and investments for 2020. My brokerage account alone has grown so much. Like at the beginning of this year, it was something like $30,000. And now I'm like above the 6-figure range between my contributions and then the stock appreciation. I contributed $58,213 to my brokerage. I was able to max out my 401k for the first time this year. That was really exciting. So the full $19,500 as a single young woman. And for checkings and savings, I didn't really end up keeping that much cash or adding any cash to my emergency funds because I am living at home with my parents this year, so I feel like it's okay to drop my cash cushion a little bit lower this year. For checking and savings, I only put like $14,000 into those accounts, and obviously that's just to cash flow like all my expenses, so you can understand like I spent $14,000, so I only kept what I was spending and then like invested the rest. My IRA, which I kind of had some complications with, and my tax guy is sorting it out now, but I contributed $6,000 to a traditional IRA this year, which I recharacterized to my Roth IRA, and there were some kind of like pro rata complications. Definitely recommend consulting a tax professional, because as much as I tried to like read blogs and do it myself, I like still messed up. So now having a CPA help me with my taxes, and they are going to help me file in 2021 for 2020. I'm like, it gives me such peace of mind, even if I have to pay like $1,000 for it. Like it, honestly, my sanity is worth it. In total, I saved $97,919. The majority of that is going into my brokerage. Again, I maxed out my 401k and IRA first, and then whatever I was left over, I just sent straight into my brokerage account. So that's what I did with my $139,000 income this year. I'm so excited to share more numbers with you in 2021. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more, be sure to hit the like button, subscribe to my channel or to the podcast, and let's talk more money, honey.